So now, what were we just learning just now?
We're just learning Orot Teshuva from Rav Kook. On Teshuva forever.
I'm not a regular public speaker. I speak a lot, but only in kind of places where it's like where everyone's kind of together, not So, because one of the main reasons that I heard there was a rabbi someplace that he learned how to. He was an amazing speaker. They asked, "Where do you learn to speak?" He said, "There's a priest from the church there, so I learned all the tricks how to do it." So, everyone could speak really good, but the question is, how much is your heart there? That's the main point. So one of the main essences of coming close to Hashem is not just to say nice words and nice ideas, but to apply them for each and every one of us, how we can find ourselves. So let's sing something together, so we can all be together. We're looking for one thing together, right? Mm-hmm. What I'm going to say afterwards, maybe I have a little idea, but I don't really know. But if we're all together, then something's going to come out of it. Shifchi kamayim le'amava libech nochach b'nei Hashem. Shifchi kamayim libech nochach b'nei Hashem. Shifchi kamayim libech nochach b'nei Hashem. Oy 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 shifchi kamayim libech nochach b'nei Hashem. Oy 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 shifchi kamayim libech nochach b'nei Hashem. Oy shifchi kamayim libech nochach b'nei Hashem. Oy oy shifchi kamayim la la Time is short. Each point here would probably have to take a lot more time, but let's see if we could sort of small points that we could put together. We're now in the month of Teshuva. We're about to say Slichas. Nochach Pnei Hashem. To talk to Hashem, we want to be close to you, right? We all want to be close to Hashem. Everyone wants to be close to Hashem. From the biggest tzaddik to the lowest, the Jews fall on the lowest level. Everyone wants to be close. But how do we do it? Right? How do you do it? Look in Shulchan Aruch, what you got to do. But there's stuff it's hard for me to do. I'm not able to apply everything that it says there that's for me, right? So sometimes you got to know what's the key, the problem. You know the key, you could, everything opens up. So there's a teaching in the Likutei Moharan where he talks about this is the kavanot from the Arizal. The Arizal had every time Pesach, Shavuot, Sukkot, Rosh Hashanah, there's different kavanot, things that you have, intentions, which a person has to have each time. And there's special kavanot for the month of Elul. So Rabbi Nachman takes these kavanot of Elul. It's okay.
We're talking about
I'm not going to inside. he takes this kavanot of Elul and he changes it. It doesn't seem to really mention it, but he hides it inside of this teaching here. And if you do what it says here, it's like you were this great mekubal and you had all the kavanot, right? So what are we doing here now? How did he start this teaching? It's the sixth Torah in the Likutei Moharan. He says, I'll just read a few words inside, then I'll talk outside. Okay, I'll translate. Every person has to lessen their own honor. Because if someone runs after their own honor and doesn't run after the honor of Hashem, he will only be worthy to achieve the honor, kvod malachim, the honor for kings, whatever that means. And kvod malachim chakor davar. So if a person is running after their own honor, they're not going to grasp it. Why? Because everyone's going to question that kind of honor. Are you worthy of this kind of honor or not? Whereas if you're honoring Hashem, then no questions are going to be asked, because kvod elokim haster davar, it's hidden, that kind of honor. Okay. He says then, in order to get to this kind of honor, which I'm going to explain in a minute, you have to do tshuva. What is the main tshuva? To listen to your own bizyonot, to your own
degradations,
humiliations, and accepting it, not answering back. That's basically the main point of this teaching here. So a person could think about, that's what I got to do. So there's some ideas that are not clear. Let's hopefully focus here. All right. He says here, we have to achieve this kind of honor of God. That's our problem, right? That's our problem. Talk to us a little bit on our level. Everyone has. Remember to say brachot. If you say bracha, the first bracha, you have to remember to say the second bracha. Not to speak lashon hara. So be careful of every halacha of Shabbos. Not to embarrass someone else. There's so many things that we have problems with. Every person knows their own problems. And comes here, Rabbi Nachman, he says, no, what's your problem? You're thinking about your own honor. You're not thinking about honoring God. You're thinking about your own honor. It's so abstract. Like you're saying, he's not enough humble. It's like, what are you talking about? That's so not speaking to more level I'm holding. I have so many bigger problems to deal with. Why are you? And that's, he says, you do this, you got everything. So the custom in many places is to say in the month of Elul, the chapter of Tehillim, La David Hashem Orivi Ishi, Mimi'ira, etc. In the middle it says, one pasuk, Acha shoalti me'eis Hashem oiso avakesh. One thing I am asking for you, Hashem. That's what I'm asking. That's all I'm asking. One thing. What? Lachzot b'noim Hashem levaker be'choloi. So, you said one thing. I'm only asking one thing. What? To always be in your house, in your chamber. I'm sure the translation, and to lachzot b'noim Hashem.
To see the beauty, to envision the beauty of Hashem.
And then it continues and continues. So how is that one thing? Right? We have two questions so far, right? Last question. Right, one more question. And then we'll hopefully answer all the questions together. We say in Eishes Chayil, Rabot banot asu chayil ve'at alit al kulana. What does that mean? Many girls have done valor, but you are greater than them all. Right? I think that's the translation. Yeah. So I'm saying, everybody here, you're all amazing. You have great jobs. You're successful, but you're greater than them all. Why? Tell me. Okay, let's hear it. Why? Why am I greater than them all? What's greater about it? He said, Rabbis banois asu chayil. They have all these. They're very successful in everything they do. Why are you greater than all of them? So the answer is, if we're midayek, if you analyze the words, what did it say? Many girls have valor, but who's you going on? You is talking about the beginning of Eishes Chayil. Who? The Eishes Chayil. What is the difference between a girl and Eishes Chayil? one is married, one's not married. Right? What is the difference between getting married and not? Right? Why are we talking about marriages now? I just came from a chasana here, but the month of Elul is actually the mazal of the month of Elul is the mazal of a young girl who is ready to get married. Why is it ready to get married? Because the month of Tishrei, Rosh Hashanah, is actually the chasana. So to speak, what chasana here? Now, what does it mean to get married? So I don't know if everybody, maybe it's simple, maybe it's not. Even if it's simple, we could talk about it together. Pretty much all problems that people have in Shalom Bayis only come from a lacking either of the knowledge of what I'm about to say, or from believing it and living with it. What is a husband and a wife? A husband and wife is one soul in two different bodies. And the only thing that's separating them is their body. When they were in heaven, there was one soul that came down into this world, and God split it up into two different bodies. Why? The first mitzvah of the Torah is what? To get married and have children. To unite those two souls, and to reveal that there's one soul that is split into two, and to reveal how it's only really one. Why does that have to be the first mitzvah of the Torah? Because the same way that we, so to speak, are one soul, but we're split into two, so what is the soul of a Jew? Chelek Eloka Mimal. So to speak, a piece, so to speak, of God. What is the difference between a Jewish soul and a non-Jewish soul? A non-Jewish soul is a part of God's creation. It's very, very important. But it's not considered, so to speak, as part of God, so to speak. Whereas a Jewish woman, you are part of me, God says. But I'm part of Hashem. Doesn't look like it. I have things, I don't exactly want what He wants. You know why? Because we're in a body. The body of us is what separates us from uniting our soul to Hashem. Meaning, before our soul came down to this physical world, it was literally one with God. There was nothing separating us from Him. And for whatever reason, God decided, He brought that soul, He, so to speak, took a part of Himself, so to speak, and placed it into a physical body. A physical body which is opposite to the will of God, naturally. And Hashem tells us, I want to reveal how this part of me, so to speak, is able to overcome the obstacle, which is called the body. What does the body do? The body is basically wants to trick us and say, no, I am my own entity. God, I'll put on tefillin, I'll keep Shabbos, I'll keep kosher, but let me live. I have my own, I am me. You are you, I serve you, I pray to you, I listen to you, but I am my own entity. I hope I'm not offending anybody here. If I am, then I'm not offending because it just comes from a lack of knowledge what I'm about to say. I know I see it. I know in Israel that I've seen it sometimes. There are places where, I'll say in Hebrew, Po garim ve'osher mishpachat Levin ve'Grin. Is anybody here? If not, it doesn't make a difference. But meaning they put both family names in the door. Now let's just contemplate what does that mean. It's saying that here are living two separate people who have agreed to live in one house. But they're two separate people. What does it mean getting married? It doesn't mean it's not a deal. We're not making a deal, right? A deal is just like the same thing. It's just like Palestine and Israel. You can make a deal and break it. I mean, there's no connection. You're not one. You're two separate things completely. If you decide I'm going to take on a new name, I'm still staying myself. I can be very successful in my do. But I recognize that I am one with the person who I decided to marry to. What does that mean? So, let's first talk about between us and Hashem, and then we'll back to a marriage. Or let's do it the other way around. Let's marriage and then back to Hashem. So between us and Hashem. getting married means recognizing that these two souls are one, and the mitzvah to get married, the commandment to get married, is to recognize that I recognize the greatness and the unity of our souls together, that even a physical body can't stop us from being one. A man and a wife are the most opposite two beings in the world almost. But still, they're not, because they're really one. They're only the physical body what separates them. Once they decide to get married, and they believe that, what does it mean to get married? I believe that this woman is my wife, meaning this is part of me. But she has different, she doesn't like what I like, she's different style than me, she's this, she's that. Okay, that's because she has a different body. But if you believe in the soul, and how do you know? Maybe it's not really my soul. If you got married, that's what you got to do. Now, if someone has divorced already, we'll talk a separate time about that. As long as you're living together, this is part of your soul. The same thing between us and Hashem. How do we feel between us and Hashem? We feel, okay, I'm Jewish, meaning I decided, so to speak, to get married. Right by Shavuot, it was like a chasana. We got married to Hashem. Hashem took us out of Mitzrayim, and we, so to speak, we decided we are His nation. We are part of you. But then we realize, wait a minute, Hashem he's a tough husband to listen to. He wants to do this, wants to do that. He's too tough on me. I want to live my own life. He's getting into every part of my life. Like, when I eat, I got to think about Him. I got to make a bracha. After I finish eating, when I go to sleep, I got to say Shema Yisrael. Whoa, it's like too much for me. When I go to the bathroom, I have to make Asher Yatzah. He's like, let me have my, I could come to shul on Shabbos or on Yom Kippur, maybe once a day, but 3 times a day, talk to Him and always be ready for, it's like, it's too much for me. I mean, give me my own, what's the word, like women's rights, right? I've got my own rights. Hashem, okay, give me my place. But what does that mean? I can almost promise you that anyone that lives like that between Hashem has the same problem at home. That their wives don't listen to them, and they don't, because they're not listening to Hashem. What does it all come from? A lack of knowledge, really. We all have it. What is the lack of knowledge? Recognizing no. What is the acronym of the month of Elul? Ani lidoidi v'doidi li. I am to my beloved, and my beloved is to me. Usually when we say Elul, I know like in the Litvisha world, Elul's like Elul. Whoa. Like let's do fast. Go fast to get. It's scary. You got to do tshuva. You got to do this. What does it mean doing tshuva? Tshuva means going back. What do you mean? Where are you going back to? To the beginning. Someone has problems with Shalom Bayit. What do? Let's go back. We had such good years at the beginning. What happened? Right when we were Chassan Hakal, what do we recognize? We recognize this is the love of my life. This is part of me. We're never gonna fight, right? Why? Because we recognize that we're one. They're not gonna fight. Then you agree to everything is only because you recognize how we are one. The same thing with Hashem. Hashem doesn't. If we feel we have a problem, it's hard for me to keep Shabbat. It's hard for me to keep kosher. It's hard for me to daven, right? Those are problems. Those are technical problems. That's not the problem. The problem is the lacking of the knowledge of recognizing that we are one with Hashem. If we want it or not, we're part of it. We are part of Him. And therefore, He's not asking us to do something for Him. He's asking to do something with Him.